I remember rightly, it was either that I had had an argument with somebody, or somebody had done something or said something to upset me. Anyway, I was in a bad mood. And so when she arrived, I went to meet her in the reception, and I remember looking at her rather sternly and saying, "You're late." And even as I said it, I confess that I felt bad, but I just couldn't help myself because, as I said already, I was in a bad mood. Well, we had the interview, and by the time we finished our discussion, I felt even worse because she was so professional about the way she handled the interview. Not only was she professional, she was very respectful, and she had a kind of air about her. There was this air of decorum about her, which I admired greatly. And so the more we spoke, the worse I felt. Anyway, at the end of that interview, she then said to me that the magazine was going to be launched, I think maybe in a month's time or something like that. And she asked if I would be willing to speak at the magazine launch. Come the day of that launch, I actually felt very ill that day. But when I got up, I said to myself, it was bad enough that I told this girl, "You are late." It was bad enough that I created a bad impression the very first day that we met. How will I now not turn up at the launch of her magazine when I'm actually supposed to be a launcher and a speaker? There was absolutely no way that I felt I could get out of it. I felt I had to go. That was the kind of impression that Ify had on me. And I went. I had to ask for permission to sit, actually, though I was at the high table, but I had to ask for permission to give my speech or my talk sitting down. And, well, it was granted me, and I did it. And then, unfortunately, I couldn't wait until the actual launch. I had to leave. But then, all I'm trying to say is that Ify is a very persuasive woman. She's a very talented woman, and she's also, she's a go-getter. I am not sure that she would take no for an answer. I doubt it. And I'm not sure anybody would actually turn her down when she makes various requests. So I'm not surprised that so many of her colleagues are here today. And nobody's actually thinking, do I belong to this station? Do I belong to that station? Am I in radio? Am I in TV? You know, the question of territorial integrity does not exist within this audience today. Everybody is here because they wish her well, and because they believe that she has paid her dues, and because they believe that she has asked a very, very pertinent question. How on earth? I don't think on earth is there. That's my addition. How on earth did we get here? Well, honestly, I'm not going to answer that question because we might be here until tomorrow. But I think that it is a question that we should all ask ourselves. It is a question that we should all consider if we imagine ourselves maybe 10 years from now, looking back. Let us not be in a situation where when we look back, we cannot say that we had a contribution to make to ensure that we got us out of this situation where we are asking ourselves, how did we get here? Are we together? Yes. Good. So that means that each of us has to be personally responsible. That each of us has to take it very, very seriously. Take our job, our profession, very, very seriously. So that hopefully, by the time she's writing another book, and I'm sure she's going to write more, there could be a new title. Now, I have written books myself, but right now I'm trying to think of what that new title will be. How did we get out of it? How did we work through it? How did we solve the problem? I mean, it could be any of such titles. But at the end of the day, it is left to each and every one of us to decide how we're going to answer that question, what we're going to do about it, and what we're going to hand over to the next generation of TV presenters, radio presenters, even print journalists, because we're all in this information business. All right? So I think that is really what I would say. And I must end by once again wishing Ify a very happy birthday and congratulating her on everything that she has achieved. And I hope that, anyway, we're talking about what, 10 years or 12 years ago? I think that's long enough for you to forgive me. Congratulations.